Thank the Force! Star Wars Newsnet Live is back Thursday night. My name is Tyler, joined almost as always. We're back to our normal schedule, but Tom and Luke here. Tom, fresh off a New York City Comic Con adventure. We have Luke, fresh off a day at work, I guess. Nothing as exciting as a New York City Comic Con adventure. I'm very sorry, Luke, that you weren't able to fly out there and experience that with Tom. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to do that, but I hope that I made your day by sending you that MegaCon Orlando cryptic tweet. We'll talk about that later. We got Star Wars book news to talk about. We have some Ahsoka, way too early Ahsoka predictions / speculation we're going to get into, some big statements, and we have a game that will involve Clone Wars villains. Clone Wars villains that we're going to play here. And I'm very excited about this one. You guys know I love a good random game. And we're going to do I just love making you guys do the blind character rankings. But this time, so we're going to do it with Clone Wars villains.
Moralo Evolve.
Every month, I feel like I'm just going to do it with a different era or some sort of hodgepodge, compilation. Today, we're doing Clone Wars villains. I got 5 juicy ones for us today, so I'm looking forward to that. But we got all the Star Wars things. I'm in the middle of reading The Last Order, which is the Finn and Jaina book. It's going well. But how are you guys? How are we doing? What's the vibe here as we're live this Thursday evening?
Vibe is great. You're in the middle of the newest Star Wars book, and I'm reading a book from 1983.
Haven't you read Dune like 100 times?
Well, it feels like it. The books are so long. I'm in the 5th out of 6 one, so.
Oh, I thought you were reading the very first.
No, this is the 5th one that Frank Herbert wrote. So it's been a fun ride. It's
Has it
definitely
gotten off the rails yet?
Yes, when I get back to Star Wars soon.
He said
for all the much that I love Dune, which I do. I really want to get back to Star Wars because it's my bread and butter. So vibes are great. I love being here. Love that we're live. We did a recorded show yesterday, and those are always fantastic. But there's just a different, not better or worse, different energy that gets brought to a live show.
Oh my gosh, the live shows are great. We had a recorded show yesterday. Luke and I recorded timeline number 53, timeline show number 53 yesterday. We hit issues 11 through 13 of the High Republic Adventures. And I have to say that it was awesome being back. It was so fun being back in that timeline sphere. But the favorite thing for me about the timeline show is when we have that part of the show we always dedicate towards how does what the themes were in this particular Star Wars thing relate to us as individuals or people in our life or a situation that, would occur normally. And we just have those real, kind of raw, authentic conversations that Star Wars can kind of pull from us. And we just use Star Wars as a means to have some of those real discussions. That's my favorite part about the Timeline show. Tom, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Like you said, fresh off of New York Comic Con. Unfortunately, it couldn't have come at a more hectic time in my life because I have so much going on this weekend. So I was only able to get there for a little bit today. But yeah, it was amazing as always. Just incredible exhibits, incredible costumes, and I got to geek out a lot at the Hasbro Pulse section and some of the Random House World stuff. So yeah, it was pretty exciting.
That's awesome. I love a good convention. So MegaCon Orlando announced a little over a week ago now that this month would be when they start revealing celebrity guests for, the event. And so today they put this cryptic, but exciting tweet out saying next week we'll announce a reunion that's going to, be unlike anything we've had before, basically. Let me try to find, I want to find the exact tweet because it said something legendary is coming next week, revealing a reunion that defined a generation and shaped the way we see fandom. Mark your calendars, get your tickets, hyping it up. But I also immediately was trying to think about who that might be. and trying to frame it in a Star Wars mindset. Because my first thought was, oh my gosh, what about like Ewan and Hayden? But then I remembered they were at MidCon Orlando just 2 years ago. So I don't know if they would try to I don't think they would bring them back as like the mainline event when they were just there 2 years ago. I feel like it would be something different. But again, they might not be leading off their guest announcers with like one of the, main headline, people. So I was trying to think like what is a minor one, but shaped a fandom for a generation feels like a pretty big claim to make if you're not going to like back that up. So I had two ideas that I thought could make some sense for, Star Wars. Or for me, one was Star Wars, one was just like a personal one I don't think would happen. The personal one is that I would love them to do like a Star Wars or Star Trek Next Generation, panel with all of the legends and icons from Next Generation. I just don't think that would be like their first guest announcement they would go with, which is Star Trek, which is, not the Star Trek is it's a much smaller fandom, but like extremely loyal. And then like my Star Wars one I thought of was, what if it was like they did the Clone Wars reunion 2 years ago, but that is one you could do more often, I think. And those people are always going to show up, like the fans. Not that they wouldn't show up for Hayden Ewan, but it's like this is a good one. It's not a headliner, but people who maybe missed that a couple years ago could do it. You could still build that buzz and excitement. Ashley, lives here. It could be something like that, or maybe all of the Ahsokas, like they have an Ashley Rosario panel or something. So that's kind of what I was thinking of maybe, but then with the word reunion didn't really scream like an Ashley Rosario, because that's not really a reunion unless it's just like we're doing an Ahsoka reunion with all the Ahsokas come together. I don't know. Luke, did you have anything?
I mean, what I would want it to be is something sequel related. I wish we had more of those characters. I don't think it at all would be, but that's what I would want.
I'd scream if Daisy Ridley was somehow coming to Orlando. The way I'd fall on the floor and collapse, I'd be done. At school, if that popped up on my phone, like Daisy Ridley, is and John Boyega and Oscar Isaac are doing it, which would never happen like in MidCon Orlando, but like one of those people might come. I mean, Hayden, you would have showed up. They've got some big names there, but if that happened, I would collapse. And my sister's like, Mr. Crouch, you okay? I'm like, I need a moment, guys. I need a moment. The queen is on her way.
Maybe I was thinking about you, Tyler, because there was some of the merch sections, they had this really great t-shirt section, and they had like a wall of t-shirts, and right in the middle was a Last Jedi t-shirt.
Ooh, that's my stuff.
I need a Last Jedi t-shirt.
Did you have any other like ideas, Luke, other than the sequel?
Maybe like the Rebels cast.
But see, the word like shaped a generation.
I'm like, I don't know.
The only way I could see it being like a Ewan Hayden thing is if they did this like reunion thing, but it was like Ewan Hayden, and then like Natalie Portman was also doing something. But she doesn't really do these conventions. You don't see her at conventions. So again, I am excited for it. Whatever it is, it's probably not Star Wars related. It's probably like The Office or something, like or it's like some TV show, some like very popular TV show. I'm thinking. So anyway, I've heard Lucas Wars is great. We have Manslayer the comics. I bought the Lucas Wars graphic novel. Interested about that one. Have you guys read that yet? I've heard great things.
I have heard great things too, but I have not picked it up yet. I really want to get it.
No, haven't.
Thanks for reminding me.
I actually haven't even heard that much about it.
Okay, well, we have a review on Star Wars Newsnet for those interested in checking that out. I believe Nate checked out Lucas Wars. He loved it. Anyway, so here we go. Ahsoka predictions. We are going to save that for just a few minutes. I got how many statements? So the way that our Ahsoka predictions are going to work, I'll just kind of give a little like prelude, a little sneak peek, is I have several that I'm going to put on. I'll put like 3 or 4 up, and then I'll let you guys kind of share some, and then I'll give some more that I put together. And basically the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to present you, this is what's going to happen. I don't necessarily believe this. This is more of something I thought of, and you react to like, do you enjoy, is that a good idea, bad idea, and then could it happen? And if it does, what are we going to do about it, kind of thing. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But first, we're bringing back, by popular demand of myself saying this, the random Star Wars character tier ranking list. Clone Wars villain editions. We're going to do a blind ranking of Clone Wars villains, okay? I am going to pop the character on the screen, and then you guys will have to do your rankings, okay? So here we go. The first Clone Wars villain on tonight's Clone Wars villain ranking is Riff Tamson himself from Water Wars. You know, we have the GOAT, King Prince Lee Char in this arc. Admiral Akbar is making his appearance in this arc. We have the Gungans versus the Quarren, and, you know, Riff Tamson orchestrating everything here on Mancala. This was a great arc. So, in character number 1 of Star Wars Blind Character Ranking, Clone Wars Villain Edition. Luke, I'm throwing it to you. 1 through 5. Where is Riff Tamson going on your list?
And is this a like best to worst type
I'm not
of thing?
telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm not. This is like best. So in terms of the best villain, like this is, you know, even if you like, you can hate this villain, but you're like, that's such a good, you know, villain, like good arc. You know what I mean? Like you hate them. It's like Joffrey Baratheon is the worst villain, but you just love to hate Joffrey. Like, you know, when he dies, you're like, yes. Like that's the kind of villain we're talking about. When they die, you're like, yes.
Oh man. I really hate Riff Tamson, like a lot. And I feel like I'm on record of saying that for the past actual 5 years. I'm putting him at just 5. I hate this guy.
Oh, 5 is in, but like, here's what I'm saying. Like 5 is like, you know, the worst. So like, you think there's going to be 4 villains better than Riff Tamson is in? Maybe better villains. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I do.
Sure,
I do.
All right. I will say that I started off with Riff Tamson because I thought that would be a good starter pack, but I think he's a good. I'm a Riff Tamson stan. You know this. You know this. Tom, Riff Tamson.
I would say 4.
Okay, so Tom.
It reminds me. I remember the character, but I'm really seeing from some of our discussions and some of the things that you bring up that I really need to do a Clone Wars rewatch because it's been some time. So I'm like trying to remember the episode. And I kind of remember some of the beats, but it's like I need to watch it again. But I'm gonna go with 4 because there are other villains from the Clone Wars that I really like more than him.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, Riff Tamson, one of the goats. Manslayer has him at 5. Manslayer has him at 5. In the chat, you can put, you know, where would you rank these 1 through 5 blind ranking? Okay, here we go. Second character on the blind Star Wars Clone Wars villain blind character ranking is the creator of the Blue Shadow virus himself, Dr. Nuru Vindi. Blue Shadow virus.
I feel like, Tom, you should go first.
I'm going to go with 5 on this guy.
Oh, man, no respect for Vindi. Oh, my gosh. He almost killed Padme and Ahsoka.
Yeah, he about wiped out all of Naboo. Imagine if, you know, Peppy hadn't done her job and found, I just love mentioning Peppy. New Dr. Vindi. He's going to go with a 3 for me. Okay. I did enjoy just so cheesy. So, you know, so mustache cheesy. Twirling.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to tie someone to a railroad track.
Yes, absolutely.
He's very much early Clone Wars villain. Because the Clone Wars takes such a stark turn after Maul gets reintroduced, you know, at the end. Yeah. All right, so first one we had, you know, Riff Tamson himself. You guys had him at 5 and 4, respectively. And then, of course, we have Dr. Nuru Vindi here, who Tom has at 5, and Luke put it number 3, which brings us to our third villain. None other than Riche Lu. And if you don't remember Mr. Riche Lu, don't you worry here. Misa got the character encyclopedia. Misa will read you Riche Lu's biography here. He's a Gungan. standing at 2.07 meters high. That would be 6 feet 9 inches, by the way. The Gungans are very tall. His abilities are persuasion, hypnosis, and Gungan sorcery. His allegiance is to the Separatists, and Richelieu is a Gungan priest and a member of the Gungan High Council. He uses sorcery to hypnotize Boss Leone into planning an attack on Naboo's capital, Theed, in alliance with the Separatists. After this plan is thwarted by Anakin Skywalker, Padme Amidala, and Jar Jar Binks. And guess what happens to Mr. Richelieu? Count Dooku kills him for his failure. Richelieu, our Gungan sorcerer.
Oh my goodness. Do you know how many episodes this character is in? Because
maybe one.
Oh
two.
My gosh.
It's one arc. I mean, I think it's like 2 episodes.
I'm gonna have to go with my lowest one that's left, my number 4 spot.
Okay.
I do not have strong opinions on this character. I didn't recognize him actually, first of all. So shucks.
Richelieu. Misa throws it to you, Mr. Tom.
I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay, 3.
Richelieu.
Reach.
Ooh. This is one I have not latched on to.
Next one, we will have all heard of this one. Probably the most hated character in all of the Clone Wars. The 4-armed, double-bladed lightsaber wielder himself, Pong Krell. Where are we going to put Mr. Pong Krell? Since, he puts, clones against clone, brother against brother, seeks to join Count Dooku in the Separatist Alliance, is an unstoppable force of nature and assholery.
I thought he was a pretty cool character, actually.
Oh, he's a great character. I hate his guts.
Yeah. Obviously I'm gonna go with 2. I'm kind of working backwards here.
Okay.
Leave some room, and I know you're gonna give us a really good one for the next one. So
I have a spicy one for last.
So I'm gonna put him on my number 1 spot. Okay. This was one where it was very fun to hate him. It does feel really good for him to get his justice. I'm not exactly a proponent of murder, but it was really nice to see him.
Luke said it's okay to kill people if it's justified.
Quite the opposite. Even for a basilisk, shouldn't kill people. He, orchestrated such destruction on the clones. Like, it was just the way he treated Rex. My name's Rex, CT7567 clone. Oh, he's just such a jerk in every single way you sliced it.
Absolutely. 100%. So,
number 1.
Let's just go through the rankings, shall we, real quick before we get to our last person. We started off our journey with Mr. Riff Tamson, which Tom slotted in at the number 4 spot. Luke said Riff Tamson for me is going to be number 5. We moved on to Dr. Nuru Vendi, the creator of the Blue Shadow virus himself. Luke said Dr. Vendi for me was going to slot in at number 3. Tom said for me, Dr. Nuru Vendi is my number 5 spot. Then we went on to the Gungan sorcerer himself, Mr. Richelieu. Tom said, I'm going to put Richelieu at number 3. Luke said Richelieu at 4, which brought us all the way to Mr. Pong Krell himself, who Tom is holding out hope for a major villain here at the end with Pong Krell. Luke said, you know what? I don't want to take a chance of my number 1 spot being taken up by anyone else. So I'm going to put Pong Krell at number 1. So Luke, your number 2 villain is coming up next. Tom, your number 1 villain is coming up next. I will tell you that this next villain is someone who suppresses information, someone who treats some of our greatest heroes with disdain, disgust, seeks to lower themselves into a position unbefitting someone of their stature. Who is a true hero, someone who really is the absolute, scum of the earth. And I have to tell you that it's quite impressive that Mr. Manslayer himself has predicted it's none other than Borkus. It's Borkus. Let's go, Manslayer.
Number
You
one.
are a dishwasher, Greg. That's what I was about to say next. He got it. He got it. Borkus in the house.
Oh my gosh, Manslayer! I can't believe you just did that. That's actually crazy.
He said.
I'm good with him being number 2 for me, right? Number 2, yes.
I'm just glad it's not size snoodles.
Yeah. Oh man.
Borkus.
Yeah, the way he
Remember that?
has basically enslaved Gregor is
Mhm.
horrible. And it actually was a great way to end off the D Squad arc, really, because it had been a very interesting arc. So for it to end this way it felt very worth it. It made the journey feel very worth it.
I can't believe he said Borkus. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. I mean, you can get there based off of where I was going. I mean, you could get Borkus, I'm sure, but to just nail it like that is so good. Oh man. So the funny thing is I couldn't remember Borkus's name. Like I could not remember the character's name, and I was doing like this, and the only character I knew I wanted to include was Borkus because I love that species and just the way they look, and then him just being like the cook, and he's fighting them with like the knives at that one point from the shop, and you are a dishwasher, Gregor. He's like that whole, he's just kind of he's such a jerk, and then the
Yeah.
way that like D Squad, it just lives in my like brain, because of my literal like profile picture on TikTok is just Meber Gascon, and so I love the fact I love that whole arc. It's so gloriously George Lucas. Anyway,
Yes.
that just fueled me for the next 72 hours at least, like alone right there. Oh my gosh, that was just incredible. Any other final comments, before we wrap it up? We had Riff Tamsin this evening, Dr. Nuru Vindi, Richelieu, Pong Krell himself, and then the GOAT, Mr. Borkus.
I gotta thank that D Squad arc that ends like that, because Gregor comes back in Rebels, which is my favorite series, and he doesn't become that person he is without that arc of Clone Wars. So thank you, Borkus, for your horrible treatment of Gregor, because it made him the man he is.
Essentially, without Meber Gascon, the Empire would have never fallen, is what you're telling me.
Well,
because they needed Gregor to do this, and then
yes.
if that doesn't happen, then Lothal isn't liberated, and if Lothal's not liberated, maybe the Rebels don't get who they need in order to blow up the Death Star. If the Rebels don't get who they need to blow up the Death Star, Luke Skywalker probably never becomes a Jedi, and if Luke Skywalker never becomes a Jedi, Darth Vader's not turning away from the dark side, which means that Darth Sidious is not going to get thrown into a chamber, which means that Rey is never going to join the Resistance, because the Resistance will not exist in the first place, because Darth Vader will have found Princess Leia, and Darth Sidious will have found Princess Leia at that point, and they would have killed her, and it's all over.
All right, John Boyega.
He comes back.
Wow.
I'm respecting the lore right now. It's me respecting the lore.
I just wanted to give a little, you got your wolf pack back, Gregor. I love that little part.
We gotta get, oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, all right, so are we ready for some Ahsoka season 2 way too early speculation prediction time?
It's never too early.
All right, it's never too early. If
Yes,
you heard
sir.
that, it's never too early. So I have a bunch of statements here. I'm gonna put them on the screen. Right? It's gonna like put on the screen just like this, like where it says like and subscribe. Okay, it's not gonna be a ticker though. I don't want that. All right, but the ticker will still be there. But all right, these will pop up on the screen. I will also say I'm gonna bring back the blind like character ranking at some point in the chat, or Luke, Tom, if you ever want to suggest what direction we go in, let me know, and we could plan accordingly for some good old times there. But I'm gonna put something on the screen that I am not predicting necessarily will happen in Ahsoka season 2. This is just something that's going to happen in Ahsoka season 2. We're going to pretend like it's happening. You're going to kind of react to that, whether you enjoy that, whether you'd be really upset by that, whether you think this is a good story direction. Just kind of riff off of that. and it's more of like is this a viable, prediction? And if not, let's unpack that. Does that seem like a good idea to you guys? Are we okay with this?
Yeah,
I know
this will
you
be
guys
fun.
have some. I know you guys have some too. We're gonna start off with an absolute spicy one. Anakin wields the Force, but not in a flashback. He is going to wield the Force in the present on the timeline, either as a Force ghost or in some sort of trippy Force thing. Now, we've seen Force ghosts wield the Force, we saw Yoda use it to, light up the tree, where the tree thing where the ancient Jedi texts were being stored. Like, this has been something we've seen happen in the saga films. If you've read some of the books, you know that this is some things that's happened in the books as well. Like, I remember in Shadow of the Sith, Anakin appears to Luke. Anakin himself is on Exegol, and he, in like the netherworld, somewhat of the Force, he's like fighting Sith like wraiths on Exegol with a saber type object of some kind. So there's some trippy stuff that could happen. So will Anakin be using the Force, but not like a clone? This is not count if he uses it in like a Clone Wars flashback type thing with young Ahsoka. It has to be present timeline with Ahsoka in the new galaxy type thing.
I think I would react. I would react pretty positively because I think it does make sense. When I've talked about this with other people, I feel like the consensus I come to is that it does need to be like at a location where a Force ghost can have a little more agency or power from the Force. And so I feel like this planet that has this obviously like deeper than surface level connection with the Mortis gods, like I think it makes sense that Anakin's Force ghost would be able to use the Force to like push back enemies or somehow like open a secret door. I think would be cool for Ahsoka, that like his Force use wouldn't even be for combat. It would be for knowledge and teaching and like leading a path forward. I think that would be really cool. So I would like it. If you're gonna bring him back, like let's do it big,
Yeah.
Hayden's back, let's do it.
Okay. Tom, I'm gonna throw it to you, but differently. Will this happen? Yes or no?
I think it will actually, because I think, like I was saying, I think they're bringing Hayden back for a reason and not just to be, a set ornament. Basically, not to take anything away. Some of the cool scenes in the films have been with the Force ghosts and imparting wisdom, but I feel like they're going to really take advantage of having Hayden Christensen back. His physicality, his presence there, especially because on Peridia, with the Mortis gods are probably going to be referenced or shown, or something is going to happen that I think it's going to break some of the rules that we maybe have seen before. So I think that it's a good bet that we'll see that.
You're telling me that Star Wars fans are going to have to unlearn what they have learned, because they always go they do such a good job of that, right? Such a good job of that.
Very open to changing.
Very open to
disrespecting the lore. But
I say this, like maybe not so Manslayer says I'm torn to the idea of a Force ghost using a lightsaber though. I kind of see that. Like that could be interesting. So there is, I don't remember, Luke, do you remember exactly how it goes in Shadow of the Sith? Like he doesn't like wield a light, he doesn't wield a lightsaber, but he does wield, there's like something he uses, and it's centered around, he's on Exegol, like using it. Like Anakin saves Luke from this weird vision that has almost been realized himself on Exegol, and Anakin saves him. So I'm wondering if there is some component of like a big dark side element at play, and that's where he wields something. But just the Force in general is what I'm discussing. But Luke, you probably remember that better than I do.
Not a ton better, if any, because I do know that is his last interaction as a Force ghost with Luke. I think that interaction just took like everything that was granted to him to make that little like saving play and conversation they had. I don't remember him using a lightsaber, but it did seem like he was wielding a force weapon. So it might have just been
Yeah,
like,
like it
since
wasn't like a
he is a
I like
being
it.
that is completely comprised of the force, I think it would be cool if his weapon was just also like the force and blade form. Like it's not like
Mhm.
a metal hilt and a kyber crystal. It's like the
Right.
force and blade form. So
Okay.
you know,
Any
rules are
more
loose.
on this one?
Yeah, and
Any
I
more on this one?
think one more thing I'll say is that I see what Manslayer is saying. I feel like the rules of Force Ghosts are really poorly defined.
Oh, super.
So
Which I love.
I don't know, which, yeah, I mean, you could say that. I think the only time when you get into trouble is if you do something that it would have been easy for Force Ghost Yoda to do, to like save the day, or Obi-Wan or whoever,
Right.
that they could have interacted in a way that they would have I guess been the hero.
Yeah.
Because you feel like, in a way, like I remember in Empire when Obi-Wan is when his ghost is telling Luke, if you face him alone, I can't help you. So there's some kind of, I guess, limitation there.
Yes.
But I don't know if that was part of Luke's,
So I 100% agree with you in the sense of there have to be limitations to what Force Ghosts do. Like they shouldn't be coming in all comic book style, wielding weapons and going nuts. Like I like my Force Ghosts used in that mentorship type role, like Yoda wielding the Force as a Force Ghost, but in the way he did it was completely in a mentorship type role. He's trying to teach Luke this lesson.
point.
And so, but I will also say, if Anakin were to wield a weapon at all in the presence, I want him to, like, I think using the Force could come rather easy. He's helping teach Ahsoka a lesson or something in this moment. Or even if he appeared and he's talking with Sabine in some way, like, I taught your master, if they're talking as a group, I don't know. Whatever. I do think there's an easy way around some of this, and it's like Tom already said, some breaking the rules, because we're in a brand new galaxy that's involving like the great mothers we just saw last season. The Mortis gods, like the Mortis arc is going to come into play in some level here. And I think that you can easily create this really weird Force situation where, that's happening. So Anakin was the Force, but not in a flashback. And I'll also preface this with not in a world between worlds scenario like season 1, where we saw him wielding, the lightsaber in that episode. So anyway, that's kind of, I think it has to be some sort of Anakin wielding the Force in a Force Ghost sense. Anyway, all right, ready for the second one? Do we want like, ooh, spicy, or do we want, oh my goodness, spicy, or do we want
medium, mild,
we'll
or
never go there, spicy?
Ghost
That's dark. What do you want?
Ghost pepper.
Yeah, shoot straight to it. Is that what you're saying, Tom?
Yeah, let's do it.
Jason Syndulla has been murdered by Thrawn. Thrawn's making his return. He's trying to get even with everyone. And something happens where he makes his presence felt, where Jason Syndulla, not necessarily like Thrawn, shoots him in the head, but he is killed in some way, like because of what Thrawn has done. Jason Syndulla has died. Now, of course, would Disney actually do this? Like, were they going to kill a kid in a show like this? Maybe not. I'm not saying on screen. Like, maybe it could happen off screen. He dies. And are they going to kill like Kanan Jarrus' son and his early years? However, there, and you cannot tell me there have not been many more tragic deaths in Star Wars than the death of Jason Syndulla would have on the Star Wars. There's plenty more tragic deaths out there, but they're investments. Come on, Disney will not kill them. Jason Syndulla's an investment. Then that's dog. Stop it. Anyway,
If
that's a dark one.
As the child of Hera and Why is my mind blank?
Kanan.
And Kanan, thank you. My mind today. Yes, I think it would be very devastating for him to die.
It would be.
I think he will be in jeopardy this season, but I don't think they would go that far because I feel like he represents so much. You know, I was hoping that he would eventually end up in Luke's academy, but we'll see. I really think I'm going to go with Manslay and say 0%.
Okay, Luke.
Gosh, I can't see it happening either. It would be the ultimate devastation. I mean, we know that Ahsoka is dead by the time of the Rise of Skywalker. Like, we do know she dies, because we
Hey,
hear her
don't
voice.
you dare say that.
Because we hear her voice.
She doesn't. Why does she have to be dead? World between worlds.
Filoni
The
said
Force.
so.
Are you doubting the infinite power of the Force right now?
Wait. I mean, no, I'm not. She's totally alive.
But
She's never gone.
Yeah, I can just see the ghost flying, and he's like, "I'm gonna take the Spectre, and like I'm gonna go around, and I'll go on the flank," and like Thrawn has him just dead to rights, and it's like Hera's lost. You know, she just lost Sabine to the other galaxy, but she's gained Ezra, and now she's lost her son. Like, it'd be a lot of pull back and forth for Hera, and I think it could do wonders for her arc. She could really have a lot of screen time and a lot to go through for that. I don't want her to go through a lot of character development for that reason, though. I want it to be for something else.
Let me tell you a story, right? About a young Jedi named.
You sound like
Bill
Hu Yang
Zed.
right now.
Let me tell you, in a long time, a galaxy far, far away. So let me tell you a story about a young Jedi named Bel Zettifar that was like trying to find his master, Loden Greatstorm, and they were finally reunited. And moments after the reuniting, the impossible happened: is they killed the master right in front of him. After they were reunited, he was killed. What if I told you that the best arc for Hera, for Jason, and for Ezra even, is for Jason Syndulla to die? And he gets captured by Thrawn. Thrawn uses the capture of Jason Syndulla to maneuver them where they want to go, and where he wants them to go. And then, just as they are reunited with him, is when he enacts his final revenge, and Jason Syndulla is killed, and that's like a big Thrawn, like, I got you moment. And this death, in many ways, will serve as a big jump towards what this culmination movie event could be. Like, this is going to be a major, mood setter for Star Wars in that movie. As in, there is no such thing as complete plot armor if we're just killing Jason Syndulla, like the kid, like in that sense. And also, the tragedy of the New Republic failing, right? The New Republic failed. It's a complete failure because the First Order is allowed to rise right back up 30 years later and take over the galaxy. What a better sign that the Republic has truly failed than for one of the young children of this next generation of Force-sensitive beings, son of a Jedi, son of one of the generals of the rebellion, is slain due to the negligence of that very Republic that's allowing Thrawn to rise back up, leading to this conflict that in many ways will probably set the tone for the First Order being able to come back. I don't think this would happen. I put it, but I'm giving it a 0.1% chance. Just because you would actually have a chance, in my opinion. Not that people have to always die for great writing to happen, but I'm like, if you want to sprinkle in some intense dramatic elements to the show, no other character's death, I think, would actually resonate in that way outside of Ahsoka, because you're saying goodbye to Ahsoka, but there's zero chance that Ahsoka dies. Every other character, Zeb dies, maybe like a Sabine or a Hera or an Ezra. We've already seen Ezra essentially quote unquote die, and he's gone, right? Like we in the epilogue happened. We went 10 years without seeing him, right? But there's been a lot of sacrifices for these characters. This would be different. This wouldn't be a sacrifice. This would just be just your gut getting torn open by loss.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Kanan and Ezra had sacrificed themselves for the greater good, and good comes out of those actions. But this would just be a knife to the heart. That's it. Yeah, that would.
Yeah,
that would stink.
So,
yeah,
I don't know, because I feel like like I said, he's Kanan's legacy, so it would be like a double, shot, for everyone to take, like because
kill.
yeah, it's I think it would be too dramatic. I think I could see
Ezra is Kanan and Hera's legacy too. Like he is too.
Yeah, but I could see another major character getting killed. Maybe someone from the Ghost Crew, but it not being. I think it would be kind of brutal to do Jason.
So I got 2 more, and then I'll throw it to you guys. I have technically I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5. I have 6. Now we can go. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do one more. And then I'll throw it to you guys for some, and then we'll do some rapid fires to wrap it up. I'll give you guys a choice. We can go kind of mystical lore. We can go with vague endings. Or we can go with, more knife to the heart. Or we can go with some laughter. What sounds appetizing to you guys?
Now that you put the room down, let's go with some laughter.
Yeah.
So everyone's been hyping up the return of the great Admiral Akbar. What if I told you this entire series is just going to be Admiral Akbar getting clowned by Thrawn, consistently just absolutely thwarted in battle. And the great Admiral that we saw in Return of the Jedi, we're frustrated because we just want him to get a win. And he actually never gets a win in this entire series.
I feel like this would actually be pretty accurate to Legends. Like Thrawn is an unbeatable, sees every step you're gonna make type of character, and so for him to be clowning on even Admiral Akbar would take a lot for Thrawn, but it is in his wheelhouse, and I think that could actually make for some really good, like push Thrawn to his limit.
Right. I'd like to
get to see that.
I'd like to see them kind of like one-upping each other in a way. So they're back.
You're saying it's clowned.
Like I'm talking clown because Filoni, I think a lot of times we think, oh, this is going to be a chess match. I'm saying, what if we just see Admiral Akbar throwing everything he can out there and he's just getting used and abused by Mithron. I can't say his name.
Mithron Nuyurodo.
There we go.
Man, that would stink. But I think it would give Thrawn the respect of people who don't know him. To then be like, oh man, he was really powerful. He was really with it in that show. Like now he's going to be the bad guy of this movie. Like I'll go check out that movie to see how that ends. Like he seemed worthy of being in a movie. So I think it would do well for the Star Wars universe. I would hate to see it because, like, I want the good guys to win, and it just would stink to watch.
The writing would
so exacting.
The writing would have to do really well because, we have to be really stellar because you don't want to be in a situation where you just make Akbar look stupid.
Right.
You want him to get. I'm saying getting clowned by Thrawn, but it's like you feel bad for Akbar versus you're sitting at home going, well, that was just a dumb thing to do. That's just stupid. Like, what do you mean you put what do you mean you're Pong Crow going full frontal assault the entire time? Like, this is Thrawn we're talking about. Like, you want to write in a way where he's getting clowned, but it's not out of Akbar is an idiot. It's Thrawn is, so much of a genius. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think someone said in the comments, yeah, Akbar doesn't have experience with Thrawn. You guys are the canon guys, so like, is that true? Did they ever interact? I know Thrawn was. I don't
Not
know
in
what
Rebels.
Akbar. What's that?
Not in Rebels that we saw, and in the Thrawn books take place there. There's no like clear mention. Like there's times where Thrawn again, he's like he has these skirmishes with the Rebel alliance throughout, but throughout his time, it mostly talks about like the Rebels crew in Rebels, and then the books it doesn't get into like the big specifics, any specifics there. So
yeah, and
it's possible they've interacted, but we wouldn't necessarily know about it.
Right.
That's true. I think, and I'm going to pull from the comics here, the Mon Calamari don't actually even join the fight until after the Death Star is destroyed.
Okay.
So like when Thrawn is disappeared by Ezra, that's a year before A New Hope, and so I don't think they ever actually were in the fight at the same time.
Makes
So
sense.
they will be meeting each other ideologically for the first time, and also like physically for the first time. So yeah,
so it makes sense. I mean, they're going to be, the reason I was saying that is because in some of the New Republic that we've seen, some of the ways it's been represented, there's a lot of like, I guess this, except for the people that fought in the Galactic Civil War, it seems to be like a hubris that the Empire is gone and that there's really nothing. And but I guess Thrawn does have a reputation with some of the people that have been in the fight the longest, so it's going to be interesting to see. So like, I don't know if so much Akbar would underestimate him, but it would be good to see him playing this like cat and mouse game, I guess, throughout the season. So it's like I said, there's so much that they have to cover in these 8 episodes. With all that happening, I'm curious to see how they tie it together, how they split between both galaxies and the 2 like story threads.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they manage that.
Yeah,
it's a lot. All right, so I have several more, obviously, but is there one that you guys want to throw out there first before I dive deeper into my gravity well?
I do have one. I don't know how deep it can take us, but you were mentioning how we're going to balance the 2 story threads that are going on, and I wanted to throw out there it could be more than that, because I'm thinking of Ezra taking a lead role, much more screen time in season 2. I think Ezra is going to learn of Luke's Jedi Academy. He's going to not want to be associated with it at all. He's going to just focus on training Jason. And I think that's going to be a plot point or thread that he's not even going to be like, put me in the fight for the New Republic. He's going to be, meeting this child for the first time that is the biological child, whereas he's been the ideological child of Kanan. And I think wearing the freaking shirt, like, I hope that there's just a lot to do with Ezra training Jason.
Right.
And that's kind of what I was thinking, is Ezra doesn't want to rebuild the Jedi Order. I don't think that's ever been something that's been pressed on his heart. I just think he's focused on his found family and training up the next generation of his found family.
Yes. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. It's funny because we haven't seen it yet, right? What the I guess this revived Jedi Order under Luke is supposed to be like. Like, is he gonna like I guess slap a no compete thing against Ezra that he can't have any other training other than his? It's going to be interesting to see how Luke handles this. Like, I was thinking about that. What is the Jedi 2.0 going to look like under Luke? How is he going to, like, is he going to be afraid of something happening, before all the Ben Solo stuff happens? Before that, is he going to foresee anything or worry about how, someone that's not training under him is going to handle being, a master and apprentice? So it's interesting. I really want to get more of that. I
Right.
hope we do soon. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. I think it's kind of poetic to have Ezra training Jason, but I don't know how Luke fits into that whole picture going forward.
Define train. Like, is he literally? I am taking
Yeah,
you as my
I would say
pseudo, like a
mentor.
Padawan, or is it more of we get a few funny sound bites where Ezra says, "Hey, try doing this every once in a while." You know, like he just throws a few tips and pointers at him every once in a while, because that's very different than actually, you know, this is like my guy. Like he's gonna follow me around, and I'm gonna literally train him like Kanan trained me, very much in that same vein. Or is it Ezra's reluctant to do that and put that up on him? And because and then this all goes back to, I'm still frustrated that we got Ezra's return and it was that awkward. Hi, Hera. Like that would ever happen. This is not, you know, Ezra would have been running over to give a big hug. That's just the way it would have been, especially after being gone for so long and this awkward. I just hated the way that.
I feel like the reunions in season 1 bothered me the most. You know, you could point to different things. I enjoyed a lot of it, but the reunions, I felt like these people haven't seen each other, and it wasn't just like 2 weeks. You know, it was years, probably close to a decade.
Yeah.
And I feel like reunions were
The Ezra Sabine one I was okay with. I was okay with that one
one I
because
don't
it
love.
felt like the awkward either is, you could say either
It was
awkward
true
sibling
to
reunion.
yeah, I could see how you say it was true to their animated personas.
Yeah, it
I
was. I get that, but the Hera one was the one that stuck out to me. Like, what are
Yeah.
we? That's like his mom, essentially.
And he flew there he kept the stormtrooper helmet on the whole time.
Come on, come on. But
I know
Luke,
it was
I
a
like this one.
cinematic reveal to take it off and everything, but it didn't really make much, I guess, practical sense. Sometimes those things bother me more than they should.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Tom, you got one for us? Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on this a little bit before the show. I was wondering if the season would follow some of the story beats of the Thrawn novels, because it looked like it was setting up in that way. I don't think it will, but I wanted to throw out to you guys to see what you thought, like about some of the points of like him trying to clone, kind of getting a clone army.
Jorah C'baoth.
Yeah. So I felt like, because it was such a popular, like I felt like the direction we were going in, and I could touch on why I don't feel that way anymore, but I felt like the direction we were going in was kind of setting it up in a way that it could flow into a canon version of that story. And I was wondering what I don't feel that way now, given the relationship Timothy Zahn has with Lucasfilm, that he's really sticking with the books and he's not really involved with the live action shows. But what do you guys think about that?
Luke, you go first.
I didn't get to, I think we were talking about it pre-show, but I didn't get to chime in super fully. But I have been I've been disappointed that Timothy Zahn and other people who craft stories that shape Star Wars in novel form don't get consulted even a little bit about how to take some of their live action stories forward. Not that they need to be major roles, but like no consultation at all, especially for someone like Timothy Zahn, who I have a group of a couple people that I follow on Twitter that are the biggest Thrawn fans that live on Earth. And so they're big Zahn fans as well. And whenever he goes to some convention and makes comments, they're there. They've got them, posted on my, I see a lot of stuff about that. And so Timothy Zahn has said that he has pretty much zero say in how live action Thrawn is handled, which I think is just, it feels, I'm not in that industry, but it feels a little disrespectful to me that he created this character, which carried Star Wars through the 90s into the prequels, and for him to have no say on how like his character is handled, it doesn't feel good to me. And so I would want something of that Legends trilogy of Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, Last Command to come through. I don't need it to be too on the nose, but I would like to see a good nod to what Zahn has done in his stories. Not just, oh, we took his character and we took the idea of his character and now he's this. I would like to see like Zahn get some, credit for and it's tough to pick out something from that trilogy that would feel like it makes sense in the canon, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that he does, which was really cool in those books, but I don't know what I would pick, but I would love to see something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say something completely off the rails in the sense of I'm gonna say nothing at all, but everything at the same time. And that is, we just need that era of Thrawn's aura. You know what I mean? Like we need that presence, that aura that you feel when you read classic Thrawn to make its way into the show, which I felt like his entrance did in Ahsoka season 1, but then everything that happened after it just kept going downhill for me. And I want to attribute most of that to I think they were trying to do just too much there. I think that they should have just let Thrawn not even be in the show until the last episode and just kind of use that as like a reveal into the next one, like that he shows up at the very end and Balin, they've done something to give him a way back, and Thrawn's makes his return, or he's about to make his return at the end, and just save that, and they should just focus more on Balin. So I think if we can, you think about Thrawn's 2 entrances into Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, and it's, Rebels, epic entrance. You were like, oh my gosh, that's Thrawn. And in, Ahsoka, when he makes that entrance, once again, epic entrance, you are completely enthralled by that. But unlike Rebels, where Thrawn, to me, has handled a lot of losses in Rebels, but it's always justifiable how he loses because it's that element of the Force that's out of his control. This one, he didn't lose, but the whole time when he's like, oh, a justifiable loss, as Ahsoka and them are just continuing to just get through every defense he sets, and then he just happens to get away. It just didn't really feel like we're supposed to be being, the Star Wars audience at large is supposed to be being introduced to this character, and he's supposed to be this brilliant mastermind, but nothing he does screams brilliant mastermind in this other than just oh, he's your run-of-the-mill Imperial Admiral. And I think we need something that gets back to that, the aura that Thrawn brings there. Now, I'm kind of not completely with Manslayer in that I think that's really just completely overrated. I think that it is overrated a little bit because I think outside of just that one book, I think is great, and I think everything else around it is a little bit overblown. But Thrawn, I think, is a great character, and I want the ultimate version of him that we can get. I don't think we got that in season 1. So whatever it is that brings that aura to Thrawn that they're able to do and starts in the writer's room, I'm open to that. And I really don't care how they do it. They can go full Legends route and develop all of these things on that side and just change the script, flip the script completely. They can go a more traditional kind of Disney Star Wars route or the canonical Thrawn that we've seen in past, and that's fine with me. Whatever it is, just give me that Thrawn where people that aren't necessarily these book fans or these Rebels fans, when I'm talking with them about Star Wars, they're like, oh, that Thrawn guy, that's he's a S tier villain. But because no one that I watched this show with, just anecdotally speaking from my perspective, watched Ahsoka, but hasn't read Thrawn books or watched Rebels, they weren't really captivated by Thrawn that much after his entrance. So the entrance happened, like, oh wow, who's this guy? And then afterwards, like, oh, so he's just your normal Imperial leader. I'm like, no, he's not. But nothing that we've seen makes you believe that.
That's a good point. I want more for him to do. I want his prowess to be proven.
Right. No, agreed. Mm-hmm. And I will say this: those books, they came around at a time when Star Wars was kind of dead, so they did carry like Luke was saying, they did carry us through the 90s in that way. But I agree that some of the things in there are a little bit silly. And
But silly is good.
yeah, some of them,
Can
you
be
know,
good.
it's not always great, but like it was really powerful at the time. Like it was a really,
Uh-huh.
how can I say, they were really important at that time. That to be said, you know, I haven't read the newer Thrawn novels, and I've heard some good things about them. But yeah, so like you said, we need that essence in the show, like past his introduction.
No, so we'll see. I can't wait for more Thrawn. There's a comment here that says, will Obi-Wan actually be in Ahsoka season 2, even though Lucasfilm has denied it? Yes. Not confirmed. This is just me saying what I think. There is, and this is okay. I love Ewan McGregor. But if I have to hear Ewan's whole, give me a job, like I'm ready to, twirl the lightsaber. At this point, I'll be honest. It really better be because he's just playing this whole thing up because he knows he has a cameo in Ahsoka season 2, like he shows up there. Or else, I'll be honest, it's kind of pathetic. And I hate to say that about someone that portrays one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. And I also happen to be in the belief that Ewan McGregor is also an incredible human being, just in general. I think he's not that I, never talked to Ewan McGregor, but just from, these people are in the public eye in such a way now where, I feel like we know he's been in our lives for a while in some sense. And he just seems like a stand-up, like a really good dude, family man, just a really great person. But I am so tired of the whole, like, I want to get the Clone Wars armor on and do all of this stuff. And someone give me a job, like, we need a season 2 of this and we need this. And I'm like, come on, dude, like, you've been Obi-Wan for a long time. You've had all these things. I'm sitting here going, we got to let it stop. But I'm hoping he's just playing this up a little bit more because it feels like it's been more than usual lately, the last couple months, right? And I just hope it's because he is going to be in the show. And that's why. And then, like, again, for this, the Mortis, I heard Sam Witwer will play the son. That was a rumor, that's been going around as well. And again, if Mortis is involved, please bring them back. Have Sam Witwer play this. It's easy, right? Like, it's an easy win, and it's something that many fans want to see, and you can easily tie it into the story. However, with the Obi-Wan thing, I think he's going to be in it. Like, I think I'll be a little surprised at this point if he's not, especially when you bring in Mortis and there's potential for more flashbacks. And if not, I said it, like, I think it's getting to be a little pathetic here. But what do you guys think?
I hope they do. I hope they do bring him back. And that I'm much on the same page as you, like with all the talk that he has said in press tours that he's been on for other things and even for Star Wars, like he certainly wants it pretty bad. So for him to not be on our screens I would feel like kind of embarrassed for him that he's like, oh, that was like genuine. He wanted to be on there and like he just wasn't involved. Like I would feel bad for him. So
imagine telling yourself, 5-10 years ago that we've reached a point where we're like, yeah, we're good. I don't really want to see like Ewan needs to stop talking about wanting to be Obi-Wan Kenobi again. Like who in your right mind would be like, yep, I'm with you there. But
he's great. I really liked the Obi-Wan Kenobi series for what it was. Like and I'll take more. Like I want him to be in season 2. I think it would be cool to have Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan together one more time on my screen. I don't need a lot more of that, but it would be cool for like one more go around of like, let's have a little conversation to like push Ahsoka forward and give her completely everything she needs. I feel like she came into her own really well in Ahsoka season 1, so I'm not sure that she even as a character needs like some major push forward. So it's a little hard for me to justify why this is even happening in the story.
Right.
But if it is, like, let's do it well. Let's make it cool. Let's make it impactful. Because I love Ewan McGregor and I think he's a great Obi-Wan. So I do want to see that. I don't want to trash on him too much. Like, let's see it.
Like you said, if it serves the story, you know, if we're going to be introduced to the Mortis gods and the audience that hasn't seen Clone Wars,
Oh my gosh, there's gonna be so much.
yeah, I mean, if we do, I mean, since Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka encountered them before, maybe
Yes.
we could do some kind of flashback or something that ties it in. So it's just it helps move the plot along in a way that people don't have to do, like, you know, an enormous amount of homework to actually catch up. It could be done. It could be done very well. So hopefully it'll be, you know, peppered in just right. You know.
I think he's gonna be in there. And then for Rex, I don't think we're gonna see Rex. I think that's not going to happen because there has been some fallout with Tamora Morrison and Star Wars. Something happened where the Boba Fett stuff, like he keeps talking about how much he wants to play Boba, how much he wants to play Boba. I just don't think they're calling him. And and if he's not coming back for Boba, and he's been very vocal about how he hasn't heard back about Boba, and that's one where I actually believe him. And I don't think he's getting called to come play Rex. You know, I don't think that's happening. Maybe there's a flashback and he does some voice work. I don't think we're going to see like an old man's Morrison's face. I don't think so. Are you guys in there as well, or?
Yeah, I also don't know what happened there, but it seems like the Book of Boba Fett was, recorded and it came out, and did it not? I don't know. I guess it wasn't received as well as I liked it. So that one also makes me feel awkward because that's been like realized where we're talking about like, man, I hope Obi-Wan's in this so that way Ewan McGregor protects a little bit of public face. Whereas this one's like Tamir Morrison is like not getting called, and I
feel
do
bad for him.
currently feel bad for the
guy.
Like,
yeah,
he's a very
come on,
he's a very joyful guy.
go.
So we're not seeing Rex as much as I want to.
Tom?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I love how they kind of retrofitted one of those guys in Endor to be the. I think Filoni said, "Oh, that was Rex." There's a guy, a bearded rebel.
Nick Sant.
Okay, thank you. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool how they tied that in. I just don't think, for the reasons that you guys mentioned, we're going to see him. There are some cool. There's a lot of AI videos out there of people reimagining parts of the story. 99% are really not great. But there's I don't want to maybe publicize it now, but I'll send you guys a few. There's a few that are getting pretty good that I think you guys might be interested in. Maybe we could do a segment on that at some point, because the technology is just getting better. And the problem is that the technology might be getting better, but fan movies sometimes just don't have, the writing isn't there or whatever. But there are a few that I saw that were actually very interesting. So we'll talk offline about it. Maybe that'll be an upcoming topic at some point. But anyway, they did with Rex. That's the reason I brought it up. So it was interesting.
I love Rex. I just don't think we're gonna get him. Last comment we'll take here tonight. Maybe we'll see. Maybe not. Will Mortis set up an ultimate conflict post the rise of Skywalker, seeding for the future here in Ahsoka? If you have warriors, now is the time. Well, I'm going to have to say a couple things on this. Number one, there needs to be, with this, we have the Simon Kinberg trilogy that's going to come out at some point that takes place in the future. There needs to be some sort of new threat that emerges to the galaxy that's not the Sith. And something that or the Empire, yes. Something that I have been thinking, there's this guy I follow on TikTok, and his name's like Lord Dagavir or like something like that. And he does these little voiceovers of Legends stuff, or in Star Wars, or the canon. He does canon things as well. And he does little voiceovers for the month of October for like spooky Star Wars or whatever. And he throws in different things like the Radican invaders or whatever, and how they used to be this great empire that terrorized people. They were force sensitive, then they lost their ability to use the force, and they're said to still be out there. But there's all of these little legends, species, or ways that you can use this new galaxy in Peridia to bring in a new threat, a new not a new empire, so to speak, or a new species that's trying to come in, a new group of people. Like, there's so many ways that now that Peridia exists and this other galaxy exists that you could use that to bring in. To say that I don't think Mortis is going to be something that sets that up like an ultimate conflict post Rise of Skywalker, unless, and I have a quick hitter that could tie into this, unless a certain thing takes place with it. But Mortis itself, based off of what we've seen with Mortis, I don't think would set up something post Rise of Skywalker. I think they would resolve all of that here. But I will say that there could be a situation where they bring in other species from this galaxy, or there is something that happens here that could pop up again and serve as like a big starting point to something post Rise of Skywalker as well. Because I don't think Dave wants to come in here and do is bring this new big bad in, or some new existential threat that exists and is present like in our main galaxy up until the Rise of Skywalker, because you kind of want the death of Palpatine and the fall of the Sith Empire to kind of still be like the pivotal climactic penultimate, like the ultimate moment, not penultimate, the climactic moment in the galaxy, and then everything resets. But I think if you introduce something here and sets, maybe set like the seeds for something in the future, that could work. I don't know if it would be 100% around Mortis, and I'll throw that to you guys with the preface of, I put this in there, what if like the mother or Abeloth like is a thing trapped in that galaxy that is a reason why we never saw the mother in Star Wars Clone Wars, because you had the father, the son, the daughter. And what if we have like this older mother, we have this Abeloth thing, this is this new thing that's been unleashed that could pop up later on, and there's this whole force thing, Anakin shows up, like all of that kind of stuff. Throwing it out to you guys.
I would be skeptical, but I think the way you could make that work is probably not a one-to-one direct adaptation of what Abeloth is in Legends, but I would like the idea that the Mortis gods were father, son, and daughter, kept the balance of the Force. And, long ago, 25,000 years ago, maybe we set up, the other movie, but like she has to be exiled to a different galaxy because all she does is consume the Force and consumes matter. And so she can't be existing in the same galaxy as this one. So they put her in the one that Peridia occupies. And so that's
why it looks so desolate.
That's why it's so desolate. That's why it's imperative to keep that evil at bay there. That's Ahsoka's job, is to actually save the galaxy without them even knowing that they're under threat.
And that's why Baylan Skoll is there, because he's trying to unleash that to create a full-fledged reset. He wanted to reset everything and start over. What better way to do that than to consume everything that has come before?
It gives Marky and Row type vibes. Like, if I can't rule it all, then nobody can have it at all. No, I don't think so. But it's very fun to speculate.
Of course. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I get a little frustrated with the time jumps between the eras, and I shouldn't say frustrated, but I think it's very hard sometimes to follow, unless, like you said, they're planting seeds for what's going to be happening. Because it looks like after Ahsoka and Mandalorian and Grogu, I think we're going to really shift hard into the post Rise of Skywalker era. So if they can, I'm excited about that too. I think if they can plant the seeds now, it'll just make that stronger, a better transition. But like, I don't see, how can I say this? the Mortis gods. I mean, I love that whole arc in Clone Wars, but I don't know how they're introducing it here. I'm just curious to see what they do with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how that could affect the future unless something happens and then it's awakened again in the
Right.
future. But yeah, it's like we've seen the Sith before, we've seen the Empire and the reimagined Empire into the First Order. So it would be great to have just a new threat, a new villain, and that sort of thing, and a new different stakes, I guess, and different beats. So that's where I am right now.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a great time. There's so many unknowns, and we have a whole year to speculate. I'm going to save I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. I have 4 left. We'll save those, and maybe like I'll sprinkle one in here and there on upcoming shows. Like it'll be like a good conversation starter for some stuff for the show, and we'll just launch in with one of those. I'll save the rest later because we're at an hour and 16 now, so we'll save it. We'll save it for a while now. Anything Star Wars you guys want to discuss, shout out before we get out of here? A couple of things on my end is that Luke, like I said, Luke and I recorded episode 53 of the Timeline Show, and it's going to be over High Republic Adventures 11 through 13. Got my full omnibus here for the High Republic Adventures. So there's that. We're going to start recording some Mandalorian previews because we are only 225 days from the Mandalorian and Grogu. So we're going to start doing it's like a Mando recap pod every week where we dive into everything in the series, one episode at a time, one episode a week starting next month. Frank popping in quite late here. He says, when does it come out? We don't know yet. The idea is that it comes out next fall. I think it's going to come out the exact same time as season 1, which would be probably about a year from now, essentially, about a year from now. And it's so long, but we got so much before then. Anyway, so there's that. We're going to be doing those Mando recaps. We have the Timeline Show back. And so I'm really excited about all of those things. And throw it to you guys. Anything you'd like to get out there real quick? Follow me on TikTok at Star Wars Book Dude.
And we mentioned at the top of the show that we had recorded the Timeline Show. I think we're going to be hopefully churning more of that out for you guys. Next up is The Edge of Balance Manga Volume 2. So have fun with that.
Excellent. Edge of Balance. Tom.
Yeah, just looking forward to the Mando rewatch. I was workshopping some names. I think maybe we can call it "This is the replay." But I'm still early in my.
That's pretty good.
So I'm looking forward to that, to really relive that and maybe dissect those a little bit more now that we were a few years removed from it. So looking forward to that, and that'll get us into the release of Mandalorian and Grogu in May.
And then I know I haven't watched season 3 of The Mandalorian since it came out. So I'm excited to watch it again and see if I feel as frustrated as I do, like going back into it. And then I will let you know, Manslayer, I have not started the anime yet that you sent me. I am going to do that at some point. I got a kind of a mini trip planned this weekend. So I'm thinking either early next week, maybe tomorrow, if I have some time, and we'll get started on our mission that we talked about.
Gosh, Visions comes out this month.
2 weeks, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Something like that.
Is it the 28th or the 19th or something?
I don't know.
29, okay, yeah. It's the very end. Okay, well, for Light and Life, everyone, we'll see you next Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern for Light and Life. Remember, we are all the Sith Empire.